I wanted to just quote Jairam Ramesh, the chief spokesperson of the Congress party, because some of those things you said have been said by him just, on 14th of August, a day before Independence Day. Dr. Sampath, he said, the tragedy of partition cannot be misused to feel hate and prejudice. The truth is, Savarkar originated the two-nation theory and Jinnah perfected it. Sardar Patel wrote, I felt that if we did not accept partition, India would be split into many bits and would be completely ruined. So this suggestion now that it was not Jinnah but Savarkar who originated and pushed the two-nation theory, that appears to be the new weaponization of the Savarkar debate by the Congress.
Nothing could be farther from historical truth, Shiv, because if Savarkar was really so powerful that he could actually have the nation split into two parts, then probably he would have ended up becoming the Prime Minister of independent India. The two-nation theory was propounded some 7-8 years even before Savarkar was born. In 1876, when Sir Syed Ahmad Khan first talked about Hindus and Muslims being two separate nations. And with the birth of the Muslim League in 1906, the Lucknow Pact, the separate electorates, the Khilafat movement, the communal award, all these were stepping stones to this whole Muslim separatism and the formation of a separate state based on religion. So in fact, it was the Hindu Mahasabha that Savarkar was the president of, and Savarkar who tooth and nail opposed partition till the very end, till about May, June 1947, when partition was actually a done deal. Including the Cripps mission that happened in 1942 that collapsed because the Hindu Mahasabha opposed it only because it led the way to the formation of Pakistan. The Congress was actually willing to accept the Cripps proposals in return for Pandit Nehru becoming the first defense minister under the Viceroy's cabinet. So I think when politicians enter historical waters, they make all kinds of allegations to suit current needs. But when we look at it from a cold, dispassionate, fact-based historical approach, the truth is far from what they actually claim.
Are there enough cold, dispassionate facts to dispel this whole, suggestion that the Congress and critics of Savarkar put forward, Dr. Sampath, that Veer Savarkar, apologized to the British? There are many unkind things that are said about him, especially by the Congress, in a kind of ugly manner. For instance, now you've got Jairam Ramesh also saying things like the modern day Savarkars and Jinnahs are continuing their efforts to divide the nation. The Indian National Congress will uphold the legacy of Gandhi, Nehru, Patel, and many others who are untiring in their efforts to unite the nation. The politics of hate will be defeated. Are those cold facts that you're quoting not enough, to settle the argument once and for all over whether Savarkar was an apologist or not?
Yeah. No, it's in the shrill political debate, Shiv. History and facts don't matter to people. Rhetoric always somehow wins. And despite any number of books one may write, any number of talks or interviews one may give, the same thing is bandied time and again. I've spoken innumerable times about this whole petition business. It was a very normal procedure with several political prisoners who were lodged in the Andamans. They were given this privilege of filing petitions time and again by the British. So it was not something that was exclusively given to Savarkar. Along with him, Sri Aurobindo's brother, Barin Ghosh, who was there, Ulakar Dutt, Sachindranath Sanyal, who later went on to form the HRA and who was the inspiration for Bhagat Singh, he filed a petition. Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya filed a petition on behalf of all those who were accused in the Kakori case, Ram Prasad Bismil, Ashfaqullah Khan and others. So this was a very normal thing that a lot of revolutionary and political prisoners did. And in my book, I've actually put all these petitions in toto for people to read. Nowhere does it suggest that it's an apology. Rather, he's acting as a spokesperson for all the other political prisoners. In his 1917 petition, he says that if my name constitutes an obstacle in the release of all the other prisoners, you can delete my name and release the others. And that would give me as much pleasure as my own release would do. So very obviously, there were almost 100 odd political prisoners there, all young men in their late teens, early 20s, who did not know English, who did not know the law. And Savarkar and people like him who had English education, he was a barrister from London, he was acting as their spokesperson. And the British records themselves, Sir Reginald Craddock, a Home Department member who came to interview Savarkar in 1913, in his official document, he writes that I interviewed this man and he shows no remorse or regret for whatever he has done, his revolutionary past. So the British records are talking about it. His fellow revolutionaries, including Sanyal and others, have mentioned as to how, they also wrote petitions similar to those written by Savarkar on his advice, but they were released, but he and his elder brother were not released because the British considered them as a D category or a dangerous category criminal,
Yes.
and that if it would be let out, the Bombay presidency would again be up in revolutionary flame. And if if Savarkar had actually sold his soul, Shiv, to the British, after he came out in 1924, the British would have co-opted him. Instead, he was kept in house arrest for another 13 years. What was supposed to be 5 years kept getting pushed to, 2 years extension, and he was kept in house arrest for 13 years in Ratnagiri. And all the documents, I've quoted them extensively in my 2 volumes of the intelligence reports, where the British say this man is not someone we can trust. And right till the time the British left in 1947, they maintained this steady suspicion about Savarkar and his double dealing, especially with the, during the World War and so on. And also the underground revolutionary movement. So if someone had sold out to the British, he would have been co-opted into the government. He would have been made maybe the Prime Minister of Bombay State or whatever. But the very fact that he was a persona non grata for the British till the very end shows that, they did not trust him. And the reason they did not trust him is he and his elder brother Baba Rao continued to maintain these underground relations with the revolutionary movement, whether it was Durga Bhabhi, whether it was Prithvi Singh Azad, whether it was Chandrasekhar Azad, whether it was Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, Rajguru, Gopte, several others of that time, who and later Rash Bihari Bose and Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. This connection was constant and continuous, and therefore the British looked at them with suspicion. But today, for us to come up and sitting in our air-conditioned rooms without understanding these nuances of history, to call someone as an apologist and so on, I think it does a huge disservice to their legacy and also to their sacrifice.